welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's up?
Derek, we are basically in what we would consider our paradise, but however, it's someone else's home, so that's fine. I'm not going to say I'm jealous, but I'm jealous.
You can stay.
Okay, so I passed. So we'll start with introductions and what you guys are all about, and then we'll dive right into all of our questions because the conversation that we had before we actually hit record was incredibly interesting. So, yeah, let's just start with intros.
Okay. You want to
I'm Mark Beyers, partial owner of Beyers Maple Farm. This is Denise. I'm her manservant.
Her manservant.
Yeah, I'm her manservant. Whatever she needs. That's the
Bee.
boss.
Queen Bee. We both own Beyers Maple Farm.
Perfect. And how did you guys meet?
In high school. So we've been dating since we were 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
High school sweethearts. You're like in less than the half percentile of the entire universe to make it.
Oh, we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it.
So when did you guys start the Maple Farm?
In around 2010?
2009, I think we started.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what drove you specifically to Maple?
I was back here hunting, and I had a maple leaf fall in my lap. Literally fall in my lap, and I just looked around and said, man, we got a lot of maple trees. I used to tap trees when I was a kid, not too many, so we just kind of started. I think we started out with 30 taps.
Something like that, yeah.
I think it was less than that, not too many. But we got the bug bad. We picked it up bad and said, this is really cool. We do it in a time of year where winter's coming to an end. Mm-hmm. You want to get outside and you want to do something, even if it's in the mud. And believe it or not, we get days out there that are snow covered and beautiful, and they're 55 degrees. We get sunburn out there making syrup sometimes.
Really?
And other times we're freezing so bad that I can tell you that Molson doesn't freeze till 19 degrees. After 19 degrees, it's slush.
Very good to know.
Yep.
So what is the temperature that you have to start tapping?
Oh, you need that break in winter to start happening.
Okay.
You need a warm up to start kicking in.
Around 40.
And yeah, we'll start tapping when it's colder. You know, during February, so we're ready when that first run hits.
Sure.
But yeah, it's all weather dependent. You got to watch the forecast. We watch them all the time. They're never accurate, ever.
Isn't it the
Especially
easiest
uphill.
job in the world?
Yeah, you only got to get it right 30% of the time.
Right.
Yeah, you're good. But
Well, it depends on what area you're in, so they got to kind of make it just an average.
yeah,
You know, we have our own weather system here because we're up on a hill and, you know, we get a lot of wind and we get a lot of snow up here too. So,
we have snow lines that run right through our woods. On one side of the woods, it'll be 2 feet of snow. On the other side, it'll be dry.
Really?
No snow, yeah. Right on top of here, right through our woods.
So how does that impact the run of the syrup? Because don't you, like some people install lines where
Yeah.
it's all based on gravity. Do you guys have that here as well?
no.
Nope. 'Cause
You just put it right in the bucket and then
We
you
put
walk
it
it
in
over?
buckets because we tap other people's trees too.
Gotcha.
And they don't want to see lines through their yard or through their woods and everything. A lot of guys like to hunt around here, so
Sure.
like my neighbor right over here, he lets us tap everything back there. He's nice enough to let us, so
Because
no
it
lines,
doesn't.
no nothing.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily hurting the tree.
No,
Right.
no, you
Okay.
can tap the same tree for 80 years. You're fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you started with maple syrup, and what was the process like in not only just making the syrup, which obviously there's boiling and all the things that you don't necessarily want to do sober, which we talked about.
You're
But
watching water boil. What
Yeah.
else are you going to do?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like watching a 300-gallon boiling pot.
right.
You know how much a little pot takes to boil? This one takes forever. So it takes a while.
And a watch pot never boils, so you
No.
should
Right.
And we're
just start
watching
drinking.
It.
Yeah.
We're watching it constantly.
Literally staring at it. So, what was the process like in basically getting the word out that, hey, we have so much of this we're kind of wanting to provide to other people? What was that process like?
I think I remember people just tasting our products and go, wow, those are really good.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had an intention on selling it when we started.
I think I put pictures up on Facebook. Facebook was around back then, right? I think it was.
It was,
Yeah.
yes.
Relatively
Relatively
the other
new.
one,
And
too.
once
What
you
was
put
the
it up
old
on
one?
Facebook, it
MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah.
I think it was still MySpace was still kind of around too. So.
Yeah, Facebook must have just come around, and
Yeah.
I had put a few pictures up, and everybody was like, "I want some. Can you make me some?" So we were like, "Well, there's a market out there for it. We might as well tap some more next year." And we had started that barn back there. That's where we started making the syrup, and we had a makeshift evaporator. It wasn't even an actual evaporator. It's like most people that are hobbyists, they have just an old
Fuel tank.
and, a flat pan on top. Not very efficient, but it did the job. And so once we were like, all right, that's way too far from the house. We need a water source to clean everything up.
Electricity.
And then we used this building over here as our shanty. So,
I lived in that building when we had our house remodeled.
yep.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
I lived in that little building. I love that place.
So that's your shanty.
That's
So
my
that's our
shanty.
shanty. Yep. And we started with a half plane evaporator, and then we actually got a grant through Farmer Veteran Coalition. And with that help, that's what really got us going with our business. Was the Farmer Veteran Coalition helped us to get a 2x8 evaporator. So from there, it really
Boom.
helped out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from basically an efficiency standpoint, and that cuts your time in half.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So speaking on the veteran piece, let's dive into your story,
Sure.
and then we'll kind of tie it back into what's going on today, because now it's an accumulation of a lot of different moving pieces that makes you guys special in regards to what your business is. So we'll start from the very beginning. You heard the call, so rah.
I don't know if I heard the call. I don't know what drove me to become a Marine.
Okay.
I don't remember anymore. I was always interested in my grandfather was in the military. I had a cousin in the military. Everyone's got family in the military.
Sure.
And if I was going to do it, I wanted to do the hardest one. For sure, which was the Marine Corps.
There we go. We'll talk about that
A little
offline.
harder than the Army sometimes. I'm sorry about that. But, you guys, how far do you shoot? 150 yards?
300 meters.
300?
Depending on the weapon
Start till
system.
300.
Depending on the weapon system.
Okay.
But it's fine. So we'll just keep going.
You can pick on me, too. It's fine.
I know. It's fine.
Or you could crayon eater. Where's the crayon eater comments?
That's after the point. Yeah, I gotcha.
My bulldog actually eats crayons.
So
And you would have a bulldog.
Of course I have a bulldog.
Yeah. For those that don't know, that's basically the mascot for the Marine Corps.
His name is Bill.
Yeah.
Goodness. Okay, so you joined
He'll
the
come
Marines.
out later. He'll be the hit of the show, trust me.
I love it. So you're how old when you enlist?
I think I was 19.
Okay.
When I enlisted, I believe that was, 98?
Yeah,
99?
98 we signed up, 99
Yeah.
we went to boot camp.
Yeah, I enlisted, and we were dating at the time, and a couple of weeks later, she came up and said, I'm enlisting too.
Oh, wow.
Not even. It was the next day.
I think my mom talked her into it. That you can do everything the guys can do. And at first, I was like, I'm not sure she could do everything the guys can do. She'll kick the guys' asses. That's great. That's great. She kicked my ass in front of a battalion of Marines once.
We were learning McMap. I had to.
The martial arts training.
Yep, exactly.
And
Yep.
she dropped me in front of 1,000 Marines.
Wow.
Yep. And he enjoyed every
Twice.
second.
She dropped me.
Yeah, twice.
I got up, she dropped me again. I was like, holy shit. Wow.
Yeah, it's fine. You won the battle because you ended up getting married.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
I was just kind of like, are you more attractive now that you just dropped me in front of
exactly.
all these guys?
And now you're like, I got to maintain my level of alpha, so I'm just going to marry the only person in the world that everyone knows can whoop me.
Yeah, it scares the hell out of me.
Exactly. So
We'll get into that later, too. I got a great story.
So, 2001, obviously things kick off.
Yeah.
In regards to
9/11.
foreign affairs, sure. So your MOS is 0311.
Correct.
Okay, so that's infantry for those that don't know, within the Marine Corps. And what was your MOS?
0131. I was a unit diary clerk, which is administrative.
Okay,
So I stayed stateside while they went to Iraq.
gotcha.
Her job was PWST. It was, post-time wartime support team?
Peacetime wartime support team. Yep.
Her job was to notify families if they lost a loved one or one of them got injured.
Yeah, that's difficult. So you're the woman in Saving Private Ryan that was typing
Yes.
everything up.
Yes, and she got
In the
my
movie.
notification.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hold on, one thing at a time. Because now,
My master sergeant got it, and he's the one that he called me and told me. So.
oh, perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you definitely weren't a basket case.
Oh no, I don't even remember what he said to me because I was just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total blackout.
Yep, total
Makes sense.
blackout. I dropped to
too.
my knees, bawling my eyes out when, he told me what happened. So yeah, it was devastating news, but he's good now.
Yeah. But when we started out in the Marine Corps, she was the only female in an all-infantry unit.
Wow.
The only female in that whole
Which
group
makes sense, too, because
of
it was
grunts.
98, 99.
Yeah.
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 I was the only female in my job training too. My whole job school.
Oh, wow.
I was the only female there too. So,
Now, prior to
yeah.
getting Denise in our unit, we had one that was not up to par with throwing a pack on and moving around with the grunts, but she would always like to say that she was. But things would happen, and packs would get heavier and heavier and heavier as it got colder and colder and colder.
Sure.
And she would drop out of a lot of stuff. So when we got Denise in, all the guys were kind of standoffish about her. Oh boy, is she going to be able to carry her pack and everything? Or
I had a lot of proving to do.
she had to prove herself. She really, in an infantry unit, you absolutely have to prove yourself.
Guys do, too.
Yeah.
And guys
Oh, yeah.
do too.
Absolutely.
We all have to.
Yep.
Every single one of us. And one of the memories I have was her rolling around on the floor of the Alden Bar and Grill from another Marine from Alden, beating the living shit out of this poor kid.
But it was a
Sometimes
good
he needs
time.
it.
It was a good
For you, you were winning.
That poor guy, he got his ass kicked by a female.
He's one of our great
Loved it.
friends, and he actually passed away 10 years ago
Yeah.
on a motorcycle accident. Chris Marhefka. But yeah, we had some good times, and he loved getting his ass kicked. So
You know?
just doing my job. Just
He
doing
had
my
to be in
job.
formation at 06 that morning, too.
Oh yeah.
So these guys came in, and her hair's all out
We're
to
all
here.
disheveled.
They got brush burns all over their face, and our gunnery sergeant's just looking. He's like, "What in the hell happened to you? You guys, you freaking all the guys." He says, "Unreal," because we all went out. There's about 10 of us that all went out,
Yeah.
and all of us were in the same shape.
Oh,
Right.
When
back
we
up
got
a
in the
little.
drill at
because
05 in the morning, and
we were from Alden, and we had 8 other people from Alden that joined
Yeah.
the Marines, and we're in our unit too. So when we had drill weekends, we'd all go out and cause trouble.
Well, right.
well, we go out and eat dinner and do a little PT, and then go home and go to sleep, like they said.
Yeah.
That's all I ever did. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
You just did it your way.
I was never part of it.
Right.
Love it. So you're in which unit in 01?
325.
3rd Battalion, 25th Marines, 325.
Gotcha. Okay. So then you go over to Iraq
In 2005, we deployed to Iraq.
in 2005.
Yep.
Okay. And what occurs?
At first, when we were in Iraq, nothing. We were on
Okay.
guard duty on Al Assad on the air base, which nothing really happened. Mortars would come in, rockets would come in. You have Pizza Hut, Burger King. We call it Camp Cupcake. We
Okay.
didn't like to be there. We're grunts. Our sister battalions are out getting after it. We want to do the same. And we got our chance. Mm-hmm. And he got shot at a lot, got mortared a lot, got rocketed a lot. And eventually one of them finally got to me and my squad, which Wilmar was in from Lakeview Lawns. There's a plug. Got it.
You gotta throw it in. You gotta throw it
Lawns.
in. No shame.
But no, Wilmar was the guy after the IED went off that one of the first ones that were there. I believe the first one there was a corpsman, but he was the second one there. And I
Okay.
remember him just laying his body across me, and he's like, "I got you, brother. I got you, brother." And I remember just saying to him, like, "Get off me. You're freaking heavy." Because he's laying on my chest, like on my arm. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Get off
right.
me." I'm like, "Okay, I'm all right." I'm like, "Go do what you got to do, brother." "All right, I got you." He's like, "If you die, I die." And he just takes off running into the smoke after putting tourniquets on me. And it was like watching a movie, but it wasn't a movie. It was real.
Right.
And this, even how do you thank someone for saving your life? Or it's tough to put into words how you feel about that person.
Mm-hmm.
This guy drug your ass out of there. You'd have died without him.
Yeah.
My whole squad did. The whole squad did. It wasn't just him. And that's not the hardest thing to talk about, because a lot of people they ask me all the time, is that hard to talk about? I was proud. All them guys did their jobs the way they were supposed to. We all did.
Yeah.
And we didn't lose anyone. No one died.
Were-
Everyone came home that day.
Was it an up armored or?
We were on foot patrol.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Then we hit what we thought was a couple of double stacked 155s.
Jeez.
155 millimeter artillery shells are about, how big they are. They're big.
Yeah.
Buried in the ground.
We
Yeah.
bury them in the ground so you can't see them. They don't want to get in a firefight with us because,
Cowards. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
They know
easier to
they'll
bury
lose.
bombs and blow us up. That didn't matter because we still got after them after that. So
So your deployment was how many months? Because different branches and different MOSs and different elements do different durations.
I think we were scheduled to be there for a year, and I think I was there for what, 8 months?
Yeah, 8 months.
8 months, yeah.
Okay. So basically, you were about to come back.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Right
Wow,
at the
that's
end.
frustrating.
When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, really? That was the last patrol? Really? They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, everybody was home.
Yeah, I was in Walter Reed, and
Yeah.
I remember, or I was in Bethesda. Walter Reed is now in Bethesda, Maryland. It used to be separate, National Naval Medical Center to the Army Hospital. Now it's all put together. It's all one building.
Okay.
But I remember waking up, and I haven't seen an American woman that smells good in a year. And her and her sister are over my bed like this. Now it's September in D.C. It's hotter than hell out, so they're
yeah.
wearing very, very.
Tank tops.
I don't wanna
It's
say-
been a year. It's
very,
been a
very
year.
nice clothing. I wake up from a coma, and I have these two, her and her sister, bending over me with their arms crossed, like this. I wake up, I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dead. And I'm like, wow, there's boobs all over. So I reach out. I remember saying boobies because you're drugged up.
No.
You're fueled
Sure.
up with all
His
kinds of
first
weird
word,
stuff.
though, was
And I said, boobies.
whammo.
Whammo.
Yeah, I'm like, do you know what happened? And he just came out of a drug-induced coma. So they took all the NG tubes out and all the tubes out of him, his chest tube. And that's his first word he said after waking up was, whammo.
Damn right I knew what happened. It happened to me.
We were like, yeah, it was a whammo.
I didn't, after I got hit, I didn't pass out or fall asleep or anything till they put me to sleep.
Yeah. And we didn't know how much he knew. We didn't know if
And I
he
knew
knew what was
everything.
going on.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Because then you're basically trying to deconflict and or at least get on
Yeah.
the same page of like what you experienced versus what you experienced, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I literally remember everything.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're probably sitting there like, perfect.
Yes.
like,
Good. Tell me what happened.
Don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
To me, I understood
Yeah.
exactly what happened. And yeah, there's her and her sister bending over with, muscle shirts on or whatever they had on, V-neck cut shirts. And I'm
Team-
going,
tank
oh my
tops,
God.
yeah.
So I probably shouldn't say this, but I reached for the wrong pair of boobs.
My sisters.
She was on my
She's
left
like,
side.
"Not
I couldn't
mine."
reach to my right side. So I just went, boobies. And she's grabbing my hand. She's like, no, over there. And they're like, I think he's fine.
I think he's fine.
He's grabbing for boobies already. He's got to be good.
that's hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah, Walter Reed was
How long were you there?
a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was that process like? Because I only know one person personally that had a lot of treatment there.
It was
and
great.
That's what he said. He's
Their
like, it's
treatment
literally
was-
the best treatment that I've ever experienced in my life.
It's where the president goes.
Right.
I've never heard of Bethesda or National Naval Medical Center. I'm a Marine. I never heard of it. You never think about getting wounded. Mm-hmm. And I remember waking up and asking that. Is this a good hospital? Where am I? They're like, you go where the president goes. And I had what I called the herd. Remember the herd?
Oh, yeah.
It was like 15 doctors that would come in every day.
But it was students. Learning.
Students and everything.
So they would
Gotcha.
follow
Sure.
them around and, what a great opportunity to learn how to take
Yeah.
care of wounds.
Yeah, right.
Trauma care, you don't get any better than a military hospital during a war.
Right.
It's pretty good learning for those guys. But yeah, they were amazing. Every doc there was great.
Yep.
And what was the process other than just recovering? Like, what was PT like and things like that?
PT was, I'm a Marine. PT wasn't hard.
Sure.
I'd go in there. You got a PT for 15 minutes. It was kind of funny, like 15 minutes.
That's all you got?
Okay, what are we going to do with the other 4 hours?
Right.
Like, how we usually go through it. And I was actually shocked at how weak I was.
Okay.
Because I went from 200 pounds down to about 130 pounds. 120 something
Yeah,
pounds.
he was so skinny.
I grabbed the whole of a 25, 30 pound dumbbell and went, there's just no way I can't even pick this up. I can't do this. And that was such a short period of time. So I started off with the little 5 pounders and then 10 pounders. And
Did that bother you from like an annoying standpoint? Like
No.
I can't even pick up 25 pounds right now?
no,
Like I'm
'cause
so
I
used to.
I had her next to me the
Okay.
whole time. You know what she told me? Yep, you're blowing up. You knew what happened. It's time to suck it the fuck up. We got to get on with our lives.
After a while.
That was the first words that you said to him, right?
Yeah. It was
Not
actually a little
quite,
bit.
not quite.
I was kind of like, okay. I guess I don't have a choice anymore.
No, we edged our way in with that one.
Not really.
He's like, it was 4 hours. 4 hours
hours,
after I
yeah.
woke up.
I said whammy, and then she hit me with this, and
I
that's
tried
it.
grabbing her sister's boot. She wasn't happy
Right
with that,
there.
so.
Yeah, she had to get you back somehow.
They were both wearing white shirts. Their sister was on the left-hand side.
You
I couldn't
couldn't
help
see
it.
straight. I mean,
It's fair.
right.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
It's
No,
forgivable.
the whole experience of Walter Reed, though, they do their jobs well. They know what they're doing. I would love to talk to some of the docs. I can't remember their names or who they were.
You remember some of them.
I do remember some of them.
Yeah.
Some of the crewmen from the C-17s that brought me home. I have no idea who they are. The Night Stalker crews that picked me up. I have no idea who they are. Yeah, I'd like to know those guys.
Well, I mean, the 160th makes sense.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a funny story after being blown up? I had a chicken in my pocket, a frozen chicken. You know, when you get blown up, they got to get all your explosive gear off you. Your rounds, your hand grenades. You can't go to the ER with C4 in your pocket, you know?
Right.
So they're like, is there anything else in your pocket? I said, yeah, there's a chicken in my pocket. And the guy from the medevac crew pulled his arms up like this. He says, is it alive? I'm like, no, it's a dead frozen chicken, dude. He's like, why do you got a chicken in your pocket? I'm like, oh my God, really? Because I was going to eat it. You know, and you're just like, okay. So you grab the chicken out of my pocket. I just see it go out the door of the bird. And it's the last time I saw my chicken.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a wasted lunch, man.
I really think the chicken took some shrapnel, too.
I wondered
Because it was
if
all
it
blown
had
to pieces.
shrapnel
My
in it.
pocket was all blown out.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
It
It
could have
must
saved
have.
his
So
own
as the
leg, yeah.
story goes, the frozen chicken saved my leg. The chicken saved me.
Yeah.
How big was that thing in your cargo pocket? Because the pocket's
Yeah,
not
it was
that.
like 4 pound chicken.
I know, that's obnoxious. How
Yeah,
did
it
you
was
fit it in
big.
your pants?
I was swollen. That's all. I was just swollen.
That's so obnoxious.
Chicken in my pocket.
That's awesome.
Well, good deal. Okay, so you get to the point, you leave Walter Reed, come back, and from that point on, you are trying to, here comes the fam, trying to establish a, kind of like your life, right? So,
Trying to.
Yeah, so you mentioned foundations that assisted in not only the house, but the business. So let's start with the house first, because obviously things had to change with making it more accessible and things
Yeah.
like that. So who helped out with that process, and we can, dive into it.
Well, when we first got home, we were in a tiny little apartment.
Right. Yeah, we had a 1-bedroom apartment. His wheelchair wouldn't even fit through the bathroom door. So he had to hop on one leg just to use the bathroom, take a shower. He would fall a lot. So I was dead set on finding a place as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because I mean, he had to hop up on the stairs just to get into the door. It was just not functional for what we needed. So, I was looking at houses, and I looked at land down the road, and then the realtor, a friend of ours, told me about this place and that it wasn't up on the market yet. They were going to try to offer it to the neighbor, and he couldn't end up getting the financing, so we were next in line. And it all went from there. We got the house. And then 2 years later, Homes for Our Troops helped us to rip out the rugs, put hardwood floors in. We put the ramp on the deck. Things like that. Make it handicapped accessible. And then we put the addition on the house too. So we had a master bedroom suite added on. And then 10 years later, in 2018, the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation approached us because they had done another Marine's house who we know, Mark O'Brien and Michelle, his wife. They did his house.
He went through the same process.
He also
with the
lost
Homes
his
for Our
arm and
Troops,
leg.
kind of redoing it, and then Tunnel to
Gotcha.
Towers came along and said, we're going to redo everything
Yeah.
to make sure everything's handicap accessible for you.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, normally, like I was telling you before, they just build houses, but we were an exception to the rule. So they gutted our house, and
That's when I lived in the shanty, and
I lived in a
Denise lived
camper in the
camper.
driveway with the kids, and we were pulling our hair out by 6 months, and it was turning snowy outside. We're like, it's freezing out here.
Right.
We need to get
It's
in.
getting a little chilly out here. It's Buffalo.
But yeah, we made it through, and everything's better.
I got to be honest, I had a fun time living in the shanty.
Yeah.
I really did.
He was buying knives every month.
Well, yeah, there's a reason.
Right.
That damn button on the computer. I just kept pressing it.
Yeah. Well, it started to press itself. That's all. So,
I did. I started a knife collection. I didn't know what else to do.
right.
I mean, the house is under construction. We weren't doing any farming at the time. We still did syrup.
We did.
We still made syrup that year, but there's nothing else to do. So
And the whole process was 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were quick.
Yeah, that's really fast.
Yeah, they came through, gutted everything, tore everything up, got everything put back together, and there was still some stuff that we had to do, but it was just so cold out, it didn't matter.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we have 2 little girls. We got to get them back inside. And
Yeah.
we did. Everything worked out just fine. And I remember the day before, 2 days before the Tunnel to Tower guy comes up here, we had a great Buffalo Lake effect snow. And he came in here and he just looks around. It says, F this place. And I thought he was going to drive away because it was coming down about 2 inches an hour, you know.
We had a good 8
Normal
inches.
November storm for us. But
Right.
yeah, he was freaked out by it. We had the snow lightning and everything going, and the thunder, what do they call it? Thunder snow.
Yep.
Yeah. He was all freaked out about it.
That's incredible.
Wild. So is that when your like other part of the business kind of started taking off once that process of building the house or renovating the house was completed, that you wanted to start growing stuff here and like making it more of a business?
I mean,
With the syrup, we've already been doing for years, but your bees, you really started doing them a couple of years ago. And
Yeah, I started raising my honey hives in 2016. So I had them for a couple years by the time we were ready to renovate the house again. But yeah, with everything else that we do, as far as like I make herbal preparations now, tinctures, and with the beeswax I make salves, balms, lip balms, face and body cream, and I'm finding recipes all the time and reading books and just experimenting here and there. So
making good stuff from nature.
yeah.
Why did you want to do bees? I feel like bees are so intimidating.
Derek is terrified of bees,
I am
especially
too.
when there's more than like, I don't know, a half of one.
Yeah.
There's about
Wasps.
500,000 over there.
Wasps,
Yeah.
not bees. I get the big bees because I have a wood deck too,
Yeah.
and they fly around all the time. And like those I can get.
The carpenter
But
Those are carpenter
yeah,
bees.
those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like the easy ones. But
Right.
once you get like, I don't know, we had the murder hornets for like a day and a half here. But then you also like you get the big wasps, and I don't
Yeah.
like those. I just don't see the
No.
point of those.
Yeah, I know. Well, they do have a purpose.
Sure.
Everything does. But I wanted to get into raising bees because I loved honey so much, and I thought that it was just so cool what they did, and I wanted to learn about it and try to add that to our business. So I again bought some books, did some research, and talked to a few other beekeepers in the area. Got a couple hives and started doing it, and it's just awesome.
Hold on. What do you mean you just got a couple? You just talk like you went to Wegmans. You don't just go out and get a couple hives.
She does.
Yeah, so like, what's that? How does that work?
Like I said, I talked to a local beekeeper, and
A purist, right?
yes,
Love
and
it.
yes,
Love
yes.
that word.
Whatever, dude.
I didn't even know that.
Shut up, Derek.
What is it called?
An
Apiary.
apiarist,
Are
right?
you an apiarist?
Apiary, yeah.
You are?
Apiarius, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Look at that.
yeah.
I'm married to an apiarist.
Put it on my other title.
You're married to an asshole.
I didn't say it.
I did. I'll be the first one to admit that.
So you called them and you're like, hey, I'm gonna do some things with some bees, and they're like, no problem, swing by and pick up some hives.
How do they transport them?
Through on the back of the truck. So,
I can't. This is too much.
Well, okay, so
Hey,
it's
honey,
not an
bees are here. Like,
It's really hard finding help to unload them, too. It really is.
So it's not
Yeah, what
like
do you got, a delivery of
a
bees?
hive that's there, then they just take the hive, right? Like it's a
nuke.
yeah,
So
okay.
it's
Whoop.
like a smaller box with about 5 frames in it. So I already had my hive set up here. So I went to, I don't even know where I got them.
I remember where you went. Do you remember the name? I remember the guy you got it from.
Harry Whitehead.
That's an easy
Harry
name to remember.
Whitehead.
yes, it is.
Harry Whitehead?
He has his own
We're going to
apiary.
have to cut that out because we can't say names. But he does. He's another honey seller, too. So.
And so he had the hives and everything there that he sold too. So
Okay.
but now I get, if I need a hive, I go to Masterson's Garden Center because they're closer for me. Whereas Harry, he lives out in Farmersville, which is, I don't know, 45 minutes from me. And Masterson's is only like 15, 20 minutes. So I buy my hive equipment, nail it all together, have the kids help me. We paint it, put it out in the bee area that we wanted them. And then I went out to Harry's place. He gave us the nukes. And then, you set them on your hive for few days, let them acclimate, and then you put them inside the hive.
See, nothing to it.
It's wild.
Yeah.
She
So
forgot the part
all
about
you
getting
gotta
stung
do is-
about 14 times that day.
Well, no, it wasn't that day. It wasn't that day at all.
One of
No.
the days.
Do you wear one of those big suits when you do
At
it?
first, I did not. I was just wearing a veil, and my hands were open. My legs were exposed.
Her
Everything was exposed. You know,
She
I
got
just
stuck
had
on the butt.
a thin veil on, and it was okay at first until I had to do some heavy inspections on the hive, and they get heavy because there's a lot of honey in there and the bees that are growing, and you know, it's a growing hive. So I don't know, they're 80 to 100 pounds, and I didn't have a full suit on. I just had this veil on, and I ended up dropping it, and it pissed them off, and they all were all over my legs, and I'm like, okay, I'm not happy right now. And I was like flying around the
I
yard
can see
trying to
her
get them
running
all
up from
off.
the pond.
I thought I got stung like 8 times. I'm sure it was a lot more than that. And
Damn.
so after that day, I went and got myself a bee suit, and I've worn one ever since.
Live and learn.
Yeah, really.
Oh, them little shits will teach you.
How much
yeah.
does that bee suit help
A lot.
when you get stung?
Oh yeah, it's
Do you feel it at all, or
very rarely. I got new gloves that come up to here, because when I had before, I just had these regular work gloves, and I would duct tape them on
Full mop gear.
because
Unbelievable.
you don't want them getting up your sleeve or into
Yeah.
the glove. I mean, they will find any little hole that they can to get in. So you really got to cover everything up. But it's amazing because there are some people that don't wear anything when they go and inspect their hives, and that's I don't know how they
I think
get
they're
there.
spraying them. You know the smokers that make the bees calm? I think they put something else in it. Maybe not little straw or something like that. It might be something green, stinky that they put on it. Because it's the only thing I can think of.
Right.
I
Who the
do
hell's going to
use-
walk into a 500,000 bees without a suit on?
yeah, I don't.
Unless those bees are really docile.
Right. You definitely need a smoker because that helps them to calm down. But I've been using sugar water mixed with lemongrass essential oils.
And hemp.
And that
The hemp
helps. Yep. And that helps to calm them down. But when you spray them with the sugar water, they immediately start cleaning themselves off because,
Oh, so they're preoccupied.
yeah.
Okay.
So then they're not flying around you so much. So
Is that
Bees
a calmer environment for them? Is to be in one of those boxes rather than like a hive on your house?
I would say, yeah, it's more structured and,
It's all up to the queen.
It's wild.
yeah.
It really is. It's all up to the queen. If she says attack, they'll attack.
Sure.
If she says everything's fine, everything's fine.
Yep.
Goodness, no, thank you. I'll,
That's why we call her Queen Bee.
yeah,
Think about it. The only female in an all-infantry unit of a couple hundred guys.
Yep.
She controls a lot of drones.
I like it.
That's right.
I do too.
So it progressed from all of those products, and what is the business like now? I mean, you guys have a lot of support from other businesses, which is great. Congratulations, by the way, on recently being featured in the Buffalo News with the help of Lakeview Lawns as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And what is it like now? I mean, do people still just kind of reach out on Facebook and Instagram, or has it kind of progressed into, like, you now have a website?
Oh yeah,
You know?
I have a website. I've had a website for I don't know when
That's
I
been a
started
while.
it. 2012, I think I started
It's
it.
super easy to use, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I eventually want to get to where I can have a cart and you can put things in there and you can order online. But I'm still trying to figure out how to do that.
We got no problem making the products. We just got to figure out the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know how to do computer work. It's just, the company that I'm with my website, I got to talk to them and see if they have those capabilities.
Sure.
Because they have the PayPal button, but then, I got to figure out shipping. And with syrup, it's expensive to ship it because it's heavy.
Heavy.
Sure.
So I can't just be like free shipping because, we wouldn't really make much money if I did it that way. So I'm still working on that, but I at least have it for educational purposes. People can see what we're about, what our products are that we offer. And then, like for my salves and bombs, I go through what the herbs are that I add to them.
Which is all
and what
made
the
from our
benefits are.
beeswax, too.
Yeah. So we
She
use our
renders down all the
beeswax.
beeswax
Yep.
and-
and our own herbs, or I get them from Thorpe's Farm up the road. They have a lot of herbs that I use. And if I don't have it or they don't have it, I order it online through
Or we grow it.
Bulk Apothecary or Mountain Rose Herbs. So all organic. I do all organic stuff. So, and then we also raise chickens and turkeys as well. So I have chickens for eggs, and I have the meat birds during the summer. So I do those for meat, and then the turkeys, they'll actually come in August. So a couple more weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
We just
You guys
filled our
just do
freezer
everything.
with 50 fresh chickens.
Chickens, yeah.
And that is great. We've been having chicken for the past 2 weeks.
We were out for a while, so we're like,
What's for dinner? Chicken.
oh, they're so good.
How do you separate beeswax from the honey?
It's a process. So, what I did before was, yeah. I actually had them all sitting, when you harvest honey, you have to take the cappings off. So the bees have the honey in all the hexagon-shaped parts of the frame, and they cap it with beeswax so that it doesn't pour out. So
Okay.
it stays in there, and then it also does a fermentation process, and it's sealed so that it stays forever. So when you extract it, you have to take a hot knife and scrape off that beeswax cappings.
Wow.
And it all goes into a bucket, and of course there's going to be honey mixed in with that beeswax. So I have a few different ways of doing it. I put it in mason jars inside of a crock pot in a hot water bath, to make it more viscous and to run through a filter, because it won't go through a filter very easily. It takes a while, and it takes a while to drip through. So I like to do this process in the winter time next to the wood stove. A lot of people have solar melters that they use during the summer, but you have to have like a certain temperature.
Sure.
And with all the rain we've had, you're not going to be able to do it. So, and I don't have a solar melter. Like, there's another friend of ours where we take our honey to extract it. He has the extractor, the whole centripetal fusion thing. It spins and lets all the...
There's a word for you.
Yes.
Centripetal fusion.
Yeah. So it's an extractor. It's a big cylindrical shaped machine, and you set all the frames in it after you decap it, I should say. And so it spins, and all the honey falls down into the bottom and out the spout into a bucket. Of course, we have a little filter on there, so it captures all the cappings in there too. And then, so I'll take that bucket home, and then I'll bottle it right from there. I don't heat it up or anything like that. It's just raw honey. And then those cappings, there's still going to be a lot of honey. So like I said, I'll put them in the mason jars in the hot water bath and pour it through a filter, and all the honey will leak down, and then all the cappings will stay in the filter bag. And then, of course, I have to render that down a few times. And I use the crock pot for all of this stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it kind of just floats on top of the water, the beeswax does. And I have to do it multiple times because there's a lot of bee parts and, just junk in there. So you got to filter it a few times to get all that junk out and make it look pretty.
So the Burt's Bees stuff, that's probably like a competitor of yours, probably. But like, what is that the same process that they do too? Like, is that similar?
I have no idea what they do.
Because
I'm
it's
not sure
actual
how they do
beeswax
it.
too, right?
I'm sure it is.
Or else
yeah.
they can't, or they shouldn't call it that.
Right, you would think. I'm not sure.
What ingredients, you talked that you add some stuff into it, like herbs. What herbs do you have into there, and what kind of blossomed this passion of yours for more of the holistic herbs rather than just like what Mike and I would grow, which is basil, and then it would die a day later. So what was that about?
Well, I really started getting into holistic stuff when my kids were little. So Eva had some things going on, and, I didn't want to be running to the doctor for every little thing, every sniffle, every whatever they got going on. I like to handle things at home, have natural remedies to deal with stuff. So I had taken some classes through the Center for Holistic Education and got certified as a holistic educator and herb specialist. So that kind of started the ball rolling. But as far as like learning to grow them and work with them with the beeswax, that started more in the past couple years, especially this past year when I finally took the time to research and read about how to deal with the beeswax and what to do with it. So again, I got more books. It's all about the books.
Yeah.
And Rosemary Gladstar. She's a well-known herbalist, and
It sounds like an herbalist.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Her
Rosemary
name's Rosemary.
Gladstar,
She's incredible, though. She's got some awesome recipes and just very knowledgeable about all the stuff. So I have a couple of her books and a couple other the nerdy farm wife. I have some of her stuff too. She's great.
Unbelievable.
She's great. So there's calendula. Calendula is very healing for the skin, but it's also an edible herb. So you can eat the petals. You can eat. You can put it in salads and soups. Your broth, like bone broth. I read that if you don't have calendula in your bone broth, then you don't know what you're missing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
What type of a flavor does it have? Or does it not give a flavor?
yeah, it's very mild. It's hard to explain.
Sure.
Like, if I were to make a tea for you, you would know it.
You would know that it's
yeah,
in there. Okay,
yeah.
it's a distinct, but
It's
maybe mild.
distinct,
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very mild, but very healing for the gut. You know, tea is actually the most oldest form of medicine. So when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I guess it would be.
Right.
And so our ancestors for thousands of years have used herbs for whatever ailments they had. And it's amazing that more people don't know this stuff.
Right?
You
And
know?
I forgot who we were talking to, or maybe it wasn't even with you, but we were talking about how weird it is that we're the only country that advertises different medicines on TV rather than getting it from your doctor, because there's
Yep.
no holistic view to like home care anymore.
Right.
Like if you have a headache, go take Advil, go
Right.
take Excedrin.
Yep.
It's like, no, that's not a good way to do
It's
it
not.
because you shouldn't be supplementing it. There's more of a natural way to do it. So
Absolutely.
is that how you kind of live? Is just
Yeah.
like, let's see if there's some natural.
Absolutely. I find
That's
natural. I
awesome.
use natural over anything. I don't take Motrin. I don't take Tylenol. I didn't even after my 2 babies. I had something natural to use in place of that. So yeah, I found most everything natural in place of using pharmaceuticals.
I'm so impressed with people that can do that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, honestly, it should be the go-to because movement is medicine. So even if
Right.
somebody took a walk, they'd be
Right.
surprised
Mm-hmm.
with how beneficial that is, let alone
Absolutely.
what you're eating
Right,
from Mother Earth.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
It's very exciting.
It's all put on this earth for us anyway,
Yeah.
so we might as well learn how to use it.
So
No
do you
doubt.
offer any educational aspects of like when you're selling this stuff, like this is what it's used for and this is kind of how it works?
Or do you tutor?
Well, we do homeschool, so and we have a group of kids that we
Oh, cool.
hang out with, and I'll teach them all an herb a week. So during the school year, everybody learns about a certain herb and how to use it either culinarily
That's
or
awesome.
medicinally.
Is there an age limit on this? Can I come out?
I know. I could start some classes, sure.
You'll literally look like Buddy the Elf,
I know. I would be so
the
excited.
biggest kid in the class.
But what was your other question?
No, it's just like if you had educational classes
Oh,
of
yeah.
this, because it's something that, again, people should know about. People
should,
shouldn't be
yeah.
running to medicine to fix them.
Right.
There's other ways to do it. And not only that, but preventative care. Like,
Right. Mm-hmm.
not even just, I have a headache, let me take something. But, like, why is the food that I taste or the food that I normally eat so bad for me? And it's
Right.
because you don't have good stuff in it. Like,
Right.
it's a whole process.
It is. There's so much to it. I mean, right down from the chemicals that they're putting in all the ground, these.
Yeah.
I don't even get me started.
That would be round 2.
Yeah,
no doubt.
For sure.
So, was there a conscious time in your guys' history that you said, we're going to make this an actual business? Or was it more of an evolution of a hobby and one day you're just like,
Yep.
let's do this?
Yeah, it was an evolution from hobby to, wow, we got a lot of people that are interested in our products, and I can't keep it on the shelf.
Yeah.
We
So-
would sell out a lot. So
You had a job before this.
Yep.
How was the balance between that actual job and also what did you do? But how is the balance between that and trying to fill a supply for customers?
So I used to be an X-ray tech. I went to college and everything while I was in the Marine Corps. And so I was an X-ray tech. I worked at local hospitals. And then I also became a cardio angio tech. So I would do angiograms and for heart attack patients and stroke patients, and then the peripherals we would do for people that had blood clots in their legs and things like that. And I loved my job. I was there for almost a decade doing my job, and I loved it. And it was a very hard decision. Once I had my first daughter, realizing how much work it is to have a child.
Sure.
And then, with my job, I was working 13-hour shifts and taking call, and there was just no feasible way that I was going to take care of everything and work full time. So I chose to leave my job, even though I'm still paying on my school loans. They're almost there.
How's the United States Marine with the GI Bill still paying on school loans?
It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
I know. It makes you wonder. They only paid for so
We'll get
much.
into that later.
But yeah, I'm happy with my decision. I did keep up with my license for many years, and then I was like, well, I honestly don't plan on going back. So, I kind of dropped it. It's a few $100s a year or every few years to re-up your license and to keep up with it and do all the
continued education.
Yes,
or
thank
continued
you.
learning.
The CE credits.
Yes.
Yes. And
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
CE
So
credits.
I was like, I just, with everything else with our farm, and I'm like, I just don't have the time to do it. I'm gonna have to drop it. I gotta drop it, even though I didn't want to because I worked so hard for it. But God
It's
has
fine.
other plans.
It's a much better lifestyle like this.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
is.
No
So
doubt.
we're a little short on money sometimes, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
We bust our asses all syrup season. I bust my ass all hunting season. I like to say that.
Yeah.
What you do, you do. You're out every morning, but
Yeah.
this is a much better way to live. It really is.
No doubt.
We know where our food comes from. We grow our own food.
You're home for your kids.
We're with our kids all the time.
Yeah.
I would give it up for the world.
Right.
Right.
There's only one job I would take if I could take a job, that I would go back to it. And that would be being a Marine again. And I'm not so good at running anymore, so I guess we're stuck with farming. That's not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
The easy hobby, like farming.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
We had no clue what we were in for. We really didn't.
Nope. And I had no idea how to make maple syrup when we first started. I was clueless. I had never done it, never seen the process. I had no idea. So
I had barely done it. I knew about as much as you put a tap in a tree and you boil it.
Yep.
It's about as far as I went. I mean,
That's literally what I know too, and I
Yeah.
don't think Derek's any different.
there was so much more to learn that we're still learning.
We were driving down the street one day, and
There's a honeybee.
yeah.
Perfect.
Wow, we're gonna get stung, and I'm gonna freak out. No, I'm just kidding.
You can pet 'em.
It'll be okay.
No,
We
they're
were
nice.
driving
Some of them
down
are
the
nice.
street the other day, and my fiance's from Attica, and I looked out the side of the window, and I saw the lines between the trees, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And she's like, "That's maple,
lines.
you idiot." I'm like, "Oh, makes sense. It's all maple trees." Nailed it.
How dare you not know
Yeah.
what maple syrup is? in
I
Attica.
had no idea what that was. Like, I didn't know what the lines were, and now I do.
Yeah.
No,
Now you
we
do.
didn't. We didn't know much either.
Yeah.
We first started making. I'll have to say it. I didn't know. We didn't even know where to get filters from. So I was filtering her through a gym sock, through one of my socks.
Our very first year, the only time we did.
They were washed.
Till we
But
got
I'm
our
like, how do you
It
get
adds a different
particulates
flavor
out?
to it.
Yeah, it did. They were washed. They were good. They were dirty though. They were used. And we started using it. We used 2 socks, and we're like, "That's great. It works perfect." We talked to a couple of guys. They're like, "Dude, you can't use socks to filter your syrup, but if you're gonna sell it, like people are buying it. It's
Yeah.
fine." I don't know. It
Wow.
didn't taste like feet.
That's amazing.
We were eating
God.
it. So.
No, socks and shirts make great filters,
Yeah.
especially if you add some dirt and rocks inside of it, and then it's natural.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's natural.
A little charcoal.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, a
Don't
little
worry about
charcoal. No, we just simply did not know how to do it.
Yeah. That's
And
just
then we
our
started
first year
looking.
doing it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really started looking into it, and
Bought a book. We bought all those books.
You
they
guys and your
teach ya.
books.
yes,
Love it.
a lot of books.
Yep.
And we still have the one book that we
It's
reference to
our
still
Maple
to this
Bible. Yep.
Are there a lot? Is there like a big community in this area that does maple syrup?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like 2,000 plus producers, and I don't know if is it all of New York or is there more than that in all of New York?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. When we first started,
Maybe
there
our
wasn't too
area,
many.
there's 2,000.
My landlord does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of little.
It's
There's
crazy.
a lot of people that do it as just
Yeah.
a hobby. They make enough for their family.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's others like Wendell's. That's where we go for most of our supplies. And, they're huge. They make, I don't even know how much they make, but they make a lot. So, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of gallons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make 50 gallons is a goal for us. He'll make that in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our evaporator, when people walk in and see it, they see it's 2 foot by 8 foot. It's actually 2 foot by 9 foot. And it's just all stainless steel. It's like this tower of stainless steel, all meant for boiling basically water. And it looks huge, but you see some of the bigger producers, and you're like, oh my God.
They're monstrous. Yeah.
And you know why they have a bunch of kids and grandkids, and it's a whole family affair.
Yeah.
Everyone pitches in because you can't do this stuff alone.
Right.
No, there's no way.
No.
We have a lot of good friends that come over and help out during the maple season.
And there it
So-
is. We have one good friend that never likes to be on camera, never likes to be recorded, hates his picture taken. His name's J.J. O'Connor.
Yep.
He's a bachelor, and he lives in New Jersey, and he's one of our Marines, and he's not going to like this.
But he's also super good friends with Will, and he comes out every year with Will's crew and like
It was all
lawns.
part of our crew in 325.
Yeah.
And we all had a pretty, they used to call us the Bad News Bears, the Wrecking Crew, the Bucks. We had all kinds of different names.
That's awesome.
Because we would, I don't know, would you say we're a little out of hand for a bit? Or
Yeah.
a little bit? A little bit out of hand. Hey. We're young U.S. Marines. We're acting exactly like we should.
Correct.
It doesn't, it gets better with age. You calm down, and we're not rolling around on the floor like some people here with beating the hell out of other Marines.
I would do no such thing.
It's all good. So what is your website? When are the typical business hours per se, or how can someone buy your products? And where can people follow you?
Okay, so ByersMapleFarm.com is our website, and you can go on there and check out what products we offer. You can call us to make an order, or message me through Facebook. I have a Beyers Maple Farm page on Facebook and Instagram, and then a personal page on Facebook as well under Denise Beyers. And then I just take phone orders, or by text message, or email, or instant message, however you want to do it. But like I said, I'm trying to work on getting a cart and develop a better way of ordering online, but so far I'm not there yet.
Sure. Would you ever want to? Is your goal to be in stores somewhere, or are you in stores now?
Some of my herbal preparations, like the salves and the balms, are in Beauty Organic Store in East Aurora.
Oh, cool.
I just recently started selling through there, and my friend Michelle Macy, she's awesome. She's got some really great products in there, and she's all organic with all the products that she makes too, so it fits well. And then when I do have honey, right now I'm sold out, but I'll harvest again in October, and I sell a lot of my honey through Thorpe's Organic Farm up the road from us. So when it's there, I'll put it out.
Nice.
And tell everybody.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, yeah.
Really cool.
Don't want to make it too big because that's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
That is. There's days in that shanty where we're 15, 16-hour days. Damn. We're double a normal work day, and we're still going.
Well, there's some wineries out west with a waiting list for one bottle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like a 6-year waiting list.
Wow.
So don't, it's fine. Have a waiting list. Be
Right.
like, hey, in 2 seasons, I can get you the amount of honey that you're
Yeah,
requesting right now.
right.
Just give me some time because there's a waiting list. And
Yeah.
then people will wait.
Well,
it's fine.
I got 5 hives now. I had bought 4 nukes for this year because I lost
Actually
all my
captured
bees.
one.
Yeah, I lost all
Right
my
over
bees
here.
over the winter, and so I'm like, all right, I have so many people that are wanting honey, and now that I know how to use beeswax, I could really use a lot more. So I was planning on buying 4. I got 4, got them going, and then 2 days later, our neighbor calls and he's like, hey, I got a swarm of bees in my bush here. I was about to go mow my back lawn area, and I didn't want to because this ball of bees is there. Do you want them? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do.
They're like $300 for a whole hive of bees for a nuke.
No, not that much.
200?
between 150 and 190 is where they're at right now.
Close enough. They're expensive.
Yeah.
To get them, they're expensive. To get a
so
freebie
it's
is
awesome.
great.
I'd pay somebody $200 to get him out of my house.
I think he did. I think he did. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with 10,000 bees?
Come take them, please. I gladly will. Thank you. So that was my first swarm that I caught. I captured it.
So
I've
how do
never
you
done
capture
it before. So I have some
Tupperware?
I'm not
Just
gonna
like
say.
No,
close
the
in?
nuke boxes. So the nuke boxes are what I brought my other bees home in, and they're just basically made of plywood. They're small. You can fit like 4 or 5 frames in them.
The frames
So-
are where they put their honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had some extra frames that still had honey from, my hives that I lost over the winter, and I put a couple frames in there so that I would put the box underneath it, and of course I was all suited up. I put the box underneath. I trimmed the branches while holding onto it, and then I shook it down like you do like
She's
one
nuts.
of those. You shake it down in, and of course they're all buzzing around, all crazy. And I put the top on it, and I let them be for the night. And it rained, so it actually forced them to go into this hive, or the nuke. And so
And she had honey in there, too, which attracts them back in.
Yeah. So, once you do that shake, and a lot of them go in, they're all going to talk to each other and follow suit. So I went back first thing in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock, and they were all in there. And so I picked it up and I brought it over. I had to actually go out and buy another hive from Masterson's, put it together that night, had the kids help me paint it, and we set it up.
It was a flurry.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
God, we
like,
need another
yay,
hive.
I got bees. Okay, impromptu beehive making. Let's go.
So you don't actually take the nest or the hive or whatever? You don't take that?
They were all just kind of in their own ball on a branch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They all surround
so
the queen.
there wasn't
Sure.
like any hive or honey or
Okay.
anything like that.
You're thinking
They're
of
all
like a
just
paper nest, like a football.
Yeah,
type
yeah,
nest.
yeah.
That-
Nope.
Those are hornets.
right. Yeah.
Honeybees
Gotcha.
don't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're just in their own ball of bees surrounding that queen and protecting her. So wherever she goes, they're like stuck on her, right? So yeah.
See?
So
Queen bee.
There you go.
So I call her queen bee.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
I
wild.
can't.
so it was. I
literally-
was excited though. I'm like, yes.
Oh,
my
So
first
perfect.
why
one.
I'm sitting here with goosebumps, and you're all excited.
Well,
Oh, we're gonna go check them out after this.
Perfect.
Oh, we got the 4-wheeler. We get the hell out of there fast.
Yeah, you could just
I-
walk over and peek at them,
The
Yeah.
one thing that she's not telling you is I'm allergic to bees.
Perfect.
I'm
Fine. I got an EpiPen.
She says you're
I
mild.
got
Mildly
it.
allergic. You got an EpiPen.
Yeah.
So I don't do much of the bee stuff.
So this
I
might be
wish
neither.
I could, but
this might be a dumb question, but why were the honeybees there then if there was no nest? It just that's where the queen bee was?
Yeah, it's swarm season. They just
Oh, there's a season, Derek.
there is a season.
Can you tell me exactly that season so I'm not home? I go up to Alaska or something?
No, you gotta tell me when you're home and you
Right.
see
Murder
one
hornets.
so I can come and get them.
Yeah, murder hornets, exactly. Wow, that's wild.
It's usually during the hot summer months.
then when you see a hive actually swarm, we've had our hives actually take
I've
off
watched
before.
them, yes.
And it's just a gray mass of bees just
They
flying
just
through the air.
floating away, going away. and
Can you
I'm
imagine sitting here looking out?
That's
Well,
what we were doing.
I did.
It's
I was
foggy
watching
today.
We're
them.
like, what the hell
Yep.
is that? And it's bees. It's our bees.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, they're taking off. They didn't like their nest.
We actually had them up in these trees a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and they were all flying erratically around. And I'm like, that must be my hive that swarmed, or it's other, natural honeybees from
It's
the
rival
wild.
bees. They're trying to get that turf.
Yep. So
Wow.
They do, too.
Bee gang wars.
I was just glad it was low to the ground and I could easily access it instead of having to go up into a tree or
Sure.
something.
Yep, the maple trees never stung me, so that's where I stay.
There you go.
I stay. That's. I love doing the maple stuff.
Yeah.
I love to do the bees with her, but
Yeah.
EpiPens are still expensive.
Yeah.
it's $600 a shot.
Yeah.
And she says, "Suck it up and just keep jabbing yourself." Right?
No, thank you.
No, I have holistic stuff for it.
Yeah, I'm like
remember?
this guy. They do scare me a little bit.
I got my salve to
Just
pull
don't
the
like 'em.
sticks out.
There's
Oh, they're
two,
cooler than hell.
there's two things I respect and just don't screw with: bees and
Women.
large snakes. Large snakes. Large snakes get me. Spiders I'm fine with, but
Yeah.
large snakes I just kind of like. I'm just gonna leave you alone.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I wouldn't. Nah, big snakes. I'll stay away from them too.
We
but-
used to have snakes before we had this places years ago.
Yeah, we raised pythons for years.
Yeah.
That's
And
a round
they-
two conversation.
They
I'm not
belong-
prepared.
they
I'm not
belong in the
prepared.
wild.
That's a
They
crazy one. I had one
decided-
bite me in the eyeball.
What? Hold on.
I swear
Why
to
was your
God.
eyeball even near the snake in the first place?
Because it was like, oh, flicking his eyelashes at it.
Oh my
She
god.
did. She
like-
bit me right in the eyeball.
It was an albino, and
my
her,
God.
her tongue didn't have the fork. It was just rounded. So we're like, all right, it must not
I
be
came
able
out
to
with a snake on
smell
my
the way it
face.
should. And yeah, I'm like,
What
well,
happened?
don't
Can you
bat
see
your
still?
eyelashes at
It was
it.
the other eye. I still had 2 of them.
I helped about that too.
I got a snake on my face. Oh
my God.
It was
Cut
last
it
right
off.
but that
It's
was a
fine.
whole other. Yeah.
It didn't injure you. You were good.
No, they're not good for keeping as pets.
No, they belong in the wild.
Well, like keeping bees as pets.
Hey, they help me, and they do all the work and produce honey.
I know they do. I just don't go near them.
So is there anything else that you guys want to talk about that we didn't get to?
That's up to you guys.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're not missing like a pivotal part, like you guys also flock pigeons or something. I don't know. But like, I just want to make sure that we talked about everything that you guys do.
No
We have
pigeons.
blueberry bushes. We have a little veggie garden, but I mean, we don't grow everything ourselves. We
Pigeons aren't a bad
we
idea.
Can't.
It'll rival
Quail.
Be like-
USPS.
Our friend grows quail. They're
Yeah, my
great.
friend grows quail. She does a great job too.
Yeah,
But Mike
wild.
Tyson does the pigeons.
he does.
Yeah, that's what
See?
got him into boxing.
Be like Mike.
Somebody killed his pigeon and he
pigeons.
lost it.
What?
Fun fact of the day.
Yes,
There
you
you-
didn't know that?
No.
You remember that?
I did.
Yeah,
I
someone-
actually remembered something.
Someone hurt one of Mike Tyson's pigeons, and that's what started him into
Into boxing, yeah.
kicking the hell out of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
They killed his favorite pigeon and he lost it on him. And somebody saw it and was like, "You're gonna come box with me."
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would say.
What a
That's
story.
That's a factoid.
Yeah, factoid.
Good job.
That's a good one. I haven't heard factoid in so long. Thank you for bringing that back into
It's
my
a
life.
factoid. It is.
Well, thank you guys so much for the hospitality, letting us come out and talk with you. Your
Sure
your
thing.
business model's awesome. I mean, I just love the whole holistic and just we're just going to do everything ourselves, and that's just fascinating. to me.
Everything.
you.
Yeah, it's a very down to earth approach.
Yeah.
So
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Well,
guys.
thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out and talking with us. It
For
was
sure.
great.
And your Instagram is again what?
I think DA
Don't look at me.
Buyers.
Okay, so you don't have a separate business Instagram.
No,
it's just
Correct.
yeah,
personal.
Instagram.
Okay,
Yeah, Instagram is just DA Buyers, and then
The website again.
buyersmaplefarm.com.
Perfect.
BEYERS, and then Maple Farm.
Awesome. Well, everybody, you can go check them out. Hit them up because they got everything that you might need. And yeah, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you,
Thank you
guys.
guys for coming out.
thank you.
Now we
Thank
can
you.
eat some ribs.
Hell yeah.